Hello all, it's June. Happy Pride Month and trans rights, by the way. So we're 50% of the way through 2023, which means I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a part 2 to my What If I Gave You a 2023 Update video. Very simple. I'm going to try and make this one just as short as the last one. I'm basically going to give you a quick intro of what's going on as of right now, the basic updates for me and the channel, and then I'm going to do a little section that's going to be called the state of every story on the channel to kind of give you a overview of where I'm at with everything currently ongoing. I wanted to put a section in here that's going to be the state of every upcoming or what if on the channel, but I may do that a little bit later, like maybe if we do a, part 3 2023 update. We'll see. Because I'm not exactly sure how gung-ho I want to be on kind of putting some of the stuff out there until I get some more work on them, since a lot of them might be Patreon exclusive or channel member exclusive series until then. I have some notes in front of me, so I'm going to try and make this as concise as I possibly can, so please do stick with me, and thank you so much for coming in and giving this information, since I do try and put a lot of work into keeping you guys updated with what I'm doing, and just taking this little extra mile to watch something that's not going to be a story like you usually come to me for. It really does mean a lot to me, so thank you so much. The biggest update as of right now is I have graduated. I'm done with college. So now the question becomes whether or not I'm going to be going full time with YouTube. And that's going to be completely down to like what ad rev is over these next couple months, as I'm going into like the 6-month period before student loans start coming into play, and whether I want to go to grad school or not and things like that. As for right now, things are pretty good. I'm also kind of staying home to help nurse my dad. He just got done with the back surgery, so we're really happy that he's kind of on the mend really well right now. But yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing, is I have a lot more free time, and I'm currently working towards figuring out whether I'm going to be kind of doing something part-time with YouTube and kind of trying to balance it with that, or we'll kind of see. So we're now going to move on to the state of every what if, because like I was saying, I've been trying to be consistent in this year and making sure I'm uploading at least once a week. And I've been very consistent with that. And like I said, that kind of goes into this section, which is just the state of every what if. So this section is going to focus on giving a general update on the current state of every ongoing what if, or on highest story as of right now. Something I said in the part 1 of the 2023 update was that every video or every story that had a character representing it on the thumbnail were the ones I was aiming to have knocked out before the year's end, so we'll start with those. So the most pressing here is probably What If Jiraiya adopted Naruto. You haven't seen a new installment of it for a while. I don't know what's up with you guys to where like I will explicitly say in videos, this story is not done. I'm leaving it off for here for right now. I'll have to get back to it when I can. Some of you will not see a video come out for like a few months, and you will freak out assuming it's done. Unless I explicitly say something, it's not done. That also said, I do appreciate you guys who can hold out and recognize like, hey, he tries to put a lot of work and effort into his stuff. So the fact that it might be 2 or 3 months before an installment, and then I might have to recap on, 6 or 7 parts, whatever. The fact that you guys do that so consistently, it really does mean a lot to me. Because some of you will, I hate to say it like this, kind of be whiny about that stuff, and it's free content that you get to enjoy. So like, why are you being so like, yeah? And like, if you get to recap on it, you get to recap on it. It's fine. Like if you go watch the full story, you'll watch the full story. But anyway. As for this story, from what my notes on the story are reflecting as bullet points, not really a completely broken down script for everything else that's going to go out. But the story has about 5 parts remaining, which will put us at 11 out of 16 currently. This is withholding any of those 5 parts needing to be split up to let anything in the certain story beats kind of breathe through. Because I don't like to have stuff be too jumbled in together. And the thing is, with this story, it's always been a series I've tried to be kind of ambitious with, and that goes from everything from, just me trying to improve on the editing in it from part to part, to me trying to get voice actors. That was actually the first story I think I had gotten voice actors for, to just trying to keep up with new custom art visuals. And that story pretty much constantly needs new custom art pieces. So, best way to support it getting new stuff out is become a Patreon or a channel member. Like, that's it. Like, watch the channel and help me generate, revenue so I can have excess cash to spend on getting art made. Or else, what's going to end up having to happen is I'm going to go, like, podcast style, and a lot of the videos that I'm trying to close out will just have to be a script and, like, some gameplay, because, it's hard to get all this stuff that I want to be as ambitious as I can, and at this point, I'm dragging the channel down by trying to stick to that. Anyway, next story. What if Stain trained Deku? My Hero's manga is currently still in the process of concluding the final story arc. However, as of right now, the end of its like in itself isn't exactly in sight of writing, or at the time of writing, excuse me. Since we're on chapter 389, with a good few more loose ends to tie up before the story can like really have any kind of real epilogue. So we're just gonna keep chugging along with Deku for right now. Part 9 is what's coming out next, and it is in production. I do plan to have it out pretty soon, within the time of this story, this video going up. But yeah, we're just now finishing up the Yakuza arc, so we have a lot of content to cover. So for right now, I'm just gonna say, you know, it's gonna be however many parts it needs until it ends. But I do plan to get back to the story pretty consistently because the anime has gotten pretty well ahead of us now, so I should have a lot of good leeway to start telling the story. What if the human Z-Fighters became Saiyans? So, as I did with my recent Piccolo story, I decided to make the main finale of the story, the kind of meat and potatoes, go ahead and be wrapped up with the Tournament of Power, as in the 2 movies that have been produced since the Tournament of Power came out in the anime are probably the widest, you know, amount of fans, like the widest amount of fans have interacted with that media, whereas it's more diehard, like I want to be in Dragon Ball, like involved with Dragon Ball, you know, diehard fans who are keeping up with the manga's events. And that's also kind of reflecting on how the manga storytelling is kind of going versus like the anime, and how like the movies and stuff have these little weird things where, you know, they have to be expanded on the manga, which makes us have to go, because right now we're recapping everything from Superhero, which has been a hassle. But yeah, I'm going to be finishing it off in its next finale, and then what my plan is to use its sequel series, which I'm going to be calling What If the Human Saiyan Hybrids Went with Trunks, to follow up on the plot point of Gohan and the other hybrids helping Trunks locate new Namek in his non-destroyed timeline. I'm going to be using that to kind of introduce some of the stuff like the Mora arc, the Granola arc, the events of the Superhero, and probably some like custom, you know, just for them kind of story arc stuff around it at some point. So yeah, I think it'll probably finish off and then maybe have a like 5 to 6 part miniseries, I'm thinking. And then you'll probably see the Human Saiyans full story before you see Human Saiyan hybrids start going out. And then probably later down the line, that story would have a full story of its own. And then I'll probably compile those to like a year down the line from when both have, you know, had a full story out. So what if Zabuza survived? Last update I said we were 2 parts from finishing this. Now as I come off of part 10 act 2, I'm honestly a bit sad that I didn't end up kind of sticking to my guns and expanding some stuff that I wanted to. Because as I go off of that one, I really feel like now I probably should have made that a 3-act structure. So a lot of the fights that got kind of, you know, touched on but not really expanded on the way you might have wanted them to could have gotten that time. So I'm gonna start trying to reserve the right to, you know, pace my stories out how I like them, even though I was just saying like I have to start knocking some of these out soon. I'm gonna keep doing my best just because that's all I ever really can do. But what it comes down to is Zabuza's part 11 should serve as its finale. And for right now, I'm thinking that's going to be 3 acts, just because it's a lot of content to cover, as I got to get, you know, Naruto's defeating Kurama, and then Zabuza's final confrontation with Kisame, then the beginning of the war, then the end of the war, then the epilogue, and that's a lot. That's a lot of content. So I mean, we might go to like, you know, a 3-act part 11 where they're like 15 minutes each, and then maybe a good 20-minute part 12. That's the true finale that maybe has some of the stuff from the last. And I also got to decide whether I'm reduxing some parts in it, because some of them won't really work, and it's a whole thing. We'll see when we get to that bridge. As good joke with Zabuza, but we'll see when we cross the bridge. As of right now, we're doing pretty well, and I'm still trying to raise and make sure I can make this as short a video as the first part. I'm gonna speed up a little bit. What if Goku joined Raditz? Long story short, here is for this one, the next part of the finale, or the next part is the finale. It's going to cover the end of the main story that I had kind of plotted out from the beginning, that I've been telling all this time. And then from that, I'm going to also launch a few other stories, because my view of that story is that as my first one is kind of bloated with a bunch of other ideas that kind of bogged down the main question that was asked. So we're going to finish off the story of Zuko and all of that, and I'll give you a good overview of what the rest of the timeline would have looked like. And then we're rebooting a lot of stuff, because that story is going to end up being split into, like, what if the Dragon Ball Zero fan manga was canon? What if Goku joined Raditz itself as just like a different story that I kind of took in the direction of what if Raditz turned good / survived. It's a lot of stories that can kind of be given time to breathe on their own, so that's what I plan to do with them. What if Naruto was raised by the Inuzuka? And what if Sasuke Uchiha was Sasuke Uchiha? With this story, these are the two podcast what ifs that are being rebooted into a full mainline series. One has a collab with RuneScribble, where we're going to be also rebooting her Naruto series over on her channel. The long and short of these is that we're biding our time and getting scripts and visuals prepared, because I'm also trying to make sure that I can have Zabuza finished and Jiraiya near done before we get, to where I'm focusing on 2 new Naruto stories, and I do have a bunch already ongoing. What if Hinata was on Team 7? Right now, I actually just want to take the opportunity to poll everyone on how they feel about me splitting my Hinata story into seasons, since I think that's going to let the kind of individual 3-act structure of the prologue of Naruto, the first part of Shippuden, and the second half of Shippuden, those 3 acts, that will let those probably breathe a little bit better. We'll see. I'm definitely going to have a community tab post that'll have the poll up, so definitely go check that around sometime after you've seen this video. That poll may be fresh, and you might be able to get a good vote in and kind of give me some feedback on what you guys would like to see me do with that. What if Bulma married Goku? This story is still really just now getting started. I'll play it safe, and we'll just say that we're a 10th of the way done, and it'll probably have 20 parts when all this is said and done. What if Asuma surpassed the 3rd Hokage? Same with this story. I only got 1 part in, but I intend to pick it back up soon, just to see if there's going to be any more interest in it, because it didn't seem like that many people were that interested in the idea. And if not, I can just wrap it up and have maybe one last kind of longish part to kind of go through again what my ideas for the story would have been, so you're not left completely in the dark about what I wanted to do. What if Rob Lucci and CP9 became pirates? This is our first One Piece story. I'm still trying to finish this one before I start any new ones, even though I have a ton of new ones in my head. And it's also pretty good that One Piece is starting to ramp up into its final saga. We're by no means in the final arc just yet, but we can see the end of the tunnel. We are closer to the end than we are to the beginning by a very large degree. Excuse me. So for right now, I think I can wrap the story up in a total of 9 to 10 parts. So we're going to say we're about 2 out of 9 parts done, even though the 2 that are out are technically 3, since we used the part 0 for this story as well. Just kind of explain some things. What if Piccolo was canon? This is a series I've been really passionate about, and while it hasn't beaten its light goal to have part 2 go public just yet, it's been enjoyed by patrons and channel members. So I'm going to keep it up, because it's also just been really good for my creative, vision. It's a more simple story to tell than I usually tell, which makes it a lot easier to kind of, script out and see in my head and get done. And that's going to make it something we can finish in a really reasonable time, because right now I'm pumping out parts pretty frequently for new channel members and patrons, not even just new ones. Just, if you're on that $5 tier, you can see it. The point is, if you guys would like to see part 2 here on the main channel before we go ahead and we finish that off for the patrons and channel members, you're going to want to go to part 1. I will have a link to it here in the iCard, in the description, all that stuff. You're going to want to leave a like on part 1. Guys, please start listening to me when I'm talking in the beginning of videos. All the time, I'm giving you really important information, and not somehow, you're skipping it. You're skipping it and you're missing it. But yeah, if you stop skipping, you see a lot of the important information I put down. There are like goals in a lot of videos. You guys actually smashed one on the next story we're going to talk about, which is what if the Z Fighters use the time chamber early. Like I said, you recently smashed this one. I was really, really proud of you. And I'm just going to go ahead and make it a full-blown mini-series, because I don't think it's going to be that long in the grand scheme of things. Before we come out with part 2, though, I do need to commission 2 to 3 pieces of custom art, and I'm hoping they'll be some of the only pieces I'll actually need for this story. But from that, I'm going to continue on with the kind of, simplified gameplay, enhanced editing style. And I'm probably going to make the next few parts a little shorter, but yeah, I do plan to have that one come out, and I really am glad you guys beat that like goal. Now for some of the ongoing collabs on the channel. We have What If Cynthia Raised Ash. This is a collab with me and Pickle Dill. I have been having a ton of fun with this story. And we're kind of getting ready to wrap it up. I believe we should be done within part 6 or part 7. And they've been massive, massive parts. I don't think any part has been below 50 minutes. And the recent ones have all been over an hour. So it's going to be a really big project when it's all said and done. Just so we've taken advantage of Pickle Dill's kind of podcast editing style to make the scripts a lot beefier and more, there's a lot of layers to them. There's a lot of words between the words, while not kind of burning ourselves out by trying to make the visuals out the wazoo. The big one. What if Giovanni sponsored Ash? We are currently working on the finale of Season 2, which, as I've been saying, is going to be the point where the story as you know it will really and truly end. There won't be much more to go off of at that point. And after that happens, what I'm going to want you guys to do is start focusing on what if the first spinoff for the series, the first spinoff for this massive series, this massive collaboration. What if Team Aqua sponsored May / what if Team Magma sponsored Max? Since that story is going to be taking center stage for a good while once GSA Season 2 ends. And it's also going to be progressing the story before we get to what we've been calling the Heart Gold Soul Silver arc, which I'm extremely excited to get you guys some more information about, because I think it's going to be a really cool evolution of the story. There are a few other one-shots on the channel that you may be seeing some updates or, reimaginings of the things, such as I have that Trunks raised Goku story that I can always kind of reboot. There's kind of a dead collab with Smugstick on the channel that I'm kind of waiting on him to get back to me about what we're going to do with. There's a few things that I kind of want to do. And then I also plan to go ahead and reboot my podcast series, and just the episode I have that's been kind of sanctioned off to be specifically this person's, I'll just kind of keep it in reserve. And then when they finally get the time to make it with them, we'll make it then. But the podcast will probably go out of order for a little while. Excuse me. And then whenever we get that chance to make the one that Dread Treks, who had that kind of, sanctioned part, we'll have that one come out. So that pretty much does it. That's the meat and potatoes of what I've had to say. And as I leave you off, I want to remind you that there are a ton of things you can do on your own that can help me out as a content creator and help me go full time, that costs you absolutely nothing. And it's stuff just as small as making sure you left a like on the video. Even if you didn't like the video, if you want to leave a dislike on the video, I'll be honest with you, for the algorithm, they have the exact same effect. It's just showing YouTube that you cared enough about the content to leave an impression. Leave a comment. If you don't have anything useful to say, if you don't have anything, worthwhile to say that you think, you can just type in algorithm fuel, and that'll do it. Small things like that. Sharing the videos with friends, family, or just somebody who wouldn't mind putting it on in the background. Stuff like that can help. Very, very small things. And if you want to go that extra little mile, you can always become a channel or patron member, which allows you to get up to a month's early access for content if you do the $5 tier. And then you also get, credit for the videos if you're at the higher tiers. And we're going to try and roll out some new perks later on. I'm trying to get things kind of settled with the channel and its content before I can, work on the perks. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this one. I really do appreciate you all for coming out. This one is way longer than the first part of the 2023 update video, but this one has that big section of just what if it's kind of going through. I'm going to try and make this one very simple to get out, so I probably won't be doing too much editing. So to those of you who kind of like visuals to kind of interact with so much, I hate it for you. But as always, be sure to take care of yourselves and the world around you, and go beyond plus ultra. I'll see you guys next time.